Bob Cesca wrote an editorial in the Daily Banter, and we're going to evaluate it, but it seems like many people in the media, he's trying to say, oh, these revelations by Snowden aren't particularly important, it's nothing we didn't know. And the one area that he focuses on that is something new, he tries to minimize. So that's the idea that the NSA has direct access, whatever that means, to the servers of Google, Facebook, other internet providers, and websites like that. And so Bob Cesca is basically saying that that's the one big revelation that Snowden and Glenn Greenwald have made, and there's currently no real evidence that that's true. And the providers and the websites have been coming out and saying, look, we're not collaborating with the NSA in that fashion. And so he's basically saying that without that, and there's currently no evidence for it, the entire revelations are yawn-worthy.
Yeah, I can't
which
stand
they don't
it.
really, they're not really acting like it's yawn-worthy. They seem pretty pissed.
Yeah, so look, I know Bob. Bob's a good guy. He's a smart guy. I like him. But they're like Bob and Andrew Sullivan, and there's a cadre of others. There isn't anything Obama does that they wouldn't jump to the immediate and enormous and 110% defense of. Mm-hmm. I literally can't remember a time.
This morning, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
What happened?
Sullivan wasn't happy with him saying we're going to give arms to Syria.
Oh, okay.
But still not enough to really come out against the guy, just saying, hey, this is a stupid decision.
That it reminded him of McCain and Clinton, you were telling me.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, that's because Bush, see, I almost
and,
go
no,
to Bush
and,
Freudian slip.
But also,
Obama reminds us of McCain and Clinton and Bush in a lot of ways.
And also when he talks about it, he goes, and it must be he's being forced into it by Samantha Power and Susan Rice.
Yeah, all right.
Really?
Well, then that speaks even worse of him. Oh, Samantha Power made me do it. Oh, please. Okay. Now, look, this is not what I just said is not a substantive, disagreement with what Bob said. So put that aside, okay? Because you have to evaluate what he's saying about this, right? And I've got three different problems with what he's saying about this. First of all, what John alluded to, okay? Oh, yawn-worthy. It makes me, it's like CNN during the Bush years. Mm-hmm. Oh, every revelation is, oh, we already knew that. We already knew that, and that guy's a traitor and treasonous and un-American and unpatriotic.
For revealing what we knew.
And Fox will then go say he should be executed, but everything's yawn-worthy. WikiLeaks. Oh, we already knew we were killing 15,000 extra civilians. We already knew we were murdering journalists. We already knew every single thing.
Taps.
Yeah, the double taps. We know everything. We already knew it. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Plus, treasonous, traitorous, etc. Most dangerous person on the planet. Which one is it? Which one is it? Okay. Now, and then they will take one particular thing that they think they have the best evidence against. Again, Bush, Obama, it doesn't matter. And most of the press is doing this. It's not just on Bob or Andrew. The great majority of the press does this. And whatever they think the weak link is, in this case, direct access to the servers, which I'm going to get to in a second. And then they will attack it. They say everything else is irrelevant. This is the only thing that matters. Where they think they have the best evidence against the report. And they'll say, oh, you see that? And that's the thing that they totally screwed up. Because Greenwald, he's not a journalist. He doesn't work at CNN. He doesn't take notes from the government. That's not a journalist. Julian Assange, he doesn't take notes from the Republicans or the Democrats. That's not a journalist. When's the last time Assange or Greenwald wrote down what the Pentagon said and printed it? If they don't do that, they're not journalists. Direct access to the servers. No way, you got that way wrong. Greenwald's loopy, right? So, that's point one. Point two is direct access to the servers. Let's discuss this, okay? So, Bob is saying, and others are saying, Greenwald said direct access, that the government had direct access to the servers of Facebook, Google, etc., right? That's because that's what the PRISM slide, the information that they have, it literally says direct access to the servers. Okay, so they say, oh, that slide is wrong, and Greenwald should have known that it was wrong if he checked with 12 different tech experts, and that's technically not true, okay? What the government said isn't technically true, ha. Okay, all right, fine. So it turns out, and the New York Times explained this last week, it's not quote unquote direct access to the servers. It's what the New York Times explained was same information goes into what they called in essence a locked mailbox, and only the government has the key to that locked mailbox. But it's the same information. So this is a semantic trick. Like, we got Greenwald. I told you he wasn't a Snowden traitor, okay? It's the same information, but technically it's a different term. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? I mean, am I misunderstanding this, Wes?
No, you're not misunderstanding. Look, the fact is, they're getting everything, even more. I'll tell you something that I don't think this is top secret. I think everyone already knows. But did you know a cell phone, even though it's off, as long as it has a battery in it, can be used as a listening device?
I've heard that.
That's reality.
Okay.
They can look.
You better not publish that anywhere,
I won't
because then
publish it
everybody
anywhere.
will say,
No, but this-
"Oh, we
this-
already knew that. Plus, he's a traitor."
But they've known it. But they've known it for 10 or 15 years. When Milosevic was on trial at The Hague, they had to brief everybody and all the lawyers. You can't talk about this, that, or the other until your battery's out of the phone and everything else. So it's not just the U.S. government; it's everybody doing it. If you have electronics, you have a spy device on you.
Can I make a really stupid, immature analogy? So the whole thing about the locked mailbox and all that, I now realize that in the future, if one of my future girlfriends ever allows me to take a nude photo of her, I can simply make a copy of the photo, show all my friends, and say, "Baby, I didn't give them direct access to the picture."
No, that was
That's
very
exactly what
indirect
they're doing.
access. As long as there's indirect access to the same exact information, then you're free to go. Then,
Access is access.
Access is access.
and also-
Come on. They're stretching because the beloved Obama has to be right about everything. Third thing, okay, again, to the substance of what we're talking about. You trust the government. Look, you think the government's going to lie to you? Come on. No. If the government says it wasn't direct access, by the way, the great irony here is the government did say it was direct access. That's where we got the quote, okay? But they're not, look, all these conspiracies about the government's trying to spy in on Americans, crazy. So that's why when General Keith Alexander came up from the NSA and spoke in front of Congress earlier in the week, he said, look, this NSA spying program, it's helped us in dozens of cases, right? Uncover terrorism. And on the show, a couple of days ago, I said, bullshit. I don't believe him for a second. Number one, on a specific case he gave, the Zazi case, he immediately lied. He said it was phone records, but we tried Zazi, so we have the court records of how we got the evidence against him. It wasn't phone records, it was an email. And it wasn't data mining email, it was an email he sent to a known Al-Qaeda terrorist. And we had that guy because we had captured a laptop. Not data mining. We knew a guy, he sent an email to that guy. Exactly how we're supposed to do detective work, okay?
Yeah.
So General Keith Alexander was lying about that. That's what makes people, the press, the mainstream press, forget Bob and Andrew, the mainstream press, they flip out when you say General Keith Alexander is a liar and he was lying to you, right? They say, how dare you? That is a beloved general and a national security expert and a government official. Why are you not praying to him? How dare you, you radical, calling him a liar? So, not only was he absolutely lying about Zazi, and it's proven, when he said dozens of cases. Now, here are more government officials, so you should bow down. Two senators, Ron Wyden, I should say, and Mark Udall, on that testimony, quote, "We have not yet seen any evidence showing that the NSA's dragnet collection of America's phone records has produced any uniquely valuable intelligence." Remember, they're on the Intelligence Committee. They have the classified information. General Alexander's testimony yesterday suggested that the NSA's bulk phone records collection program helped thwart dozens of terrorist attacks. But all of the plots that he mentioned appear to have been identified using other collection methods. The public deserves a clearer explanation. In other words, that's two Democratic senators on the Intelligence Committee with the same exact access to information, classified information, saying, bullshit. Keith Alexander came here and he absolutely lied to you. They did not interrupt dozens of plots with the data mining or the PRISM program or the phone program. It was through other means. And the shock that people have, that how could our beloved leaders lie to us? How insanely naive are you? It's not to say that they lie about everything, it's that you have to evaluate
Just the
case by
important
case.
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the facts. But you've got to pervert the facts in every way to show that the government and you're either leader of Team Democrat or leader of Team Republican is right. Well, I got really bad news for you. They aren't right, and they're absolutely lying about this program. They're absolutely spying in on American citizens and violating the Fourth Amendment and the United States Constitution. If that's inconvenient for you, that's a sad day for you.